Rock and roll, Reg.
We are rock and roll.
We always have the most fun ways to go live because I just hit the live button in the middle of us goofing off, which is the best way that somebody can go live. But this is your ROH post show for August 17th, as well as your Impact post show, where we will hand this stream off to the wonderful Cresta, and Joel will also be there. But we have ROH to talk about tonight. We're gonna kind of get right into it because we've got a lot to get through in a short amount of time to get that Impact crew on. But I am going to ask you right up front to get in your super chats, get in your humper chats at humperchats.com. Going to ask you to leave a thumbs up on this video, as well as to hit the subscribe button. We're 100,000 strong now. You guys are so awesome for that. Thank you so much for all of the support. It really does help us out in monetization and helping people find us. So we do appreciate it. And we'll also tell you to go to FightfulSelect.com because, you know, CM Punk gets us a lot of subscriptions. I don't know what to tell you, all right? Does he seem like the chillest guy in the world? Not so much. Is he good for our business? He sure is. We'll take
business
it.
Business is booming when he's walling, but like, relax, my guy.
But like, also like, let's all calm down.
Yeah.
But there's plenty more, and there's going to be plenty more coming out of All In Weekend, of course, at Wembley. You also get a bunch of bonus shows like Ask Grapsody being recorded behind the paywall, in addition to Grapsody on the free channel. You get me and Alex Pulowski as well doing some pay-per-view post shows. Sean's Q&A, The Hump Goes On Now, which was formerly The List and Your Boy Goes On. So all that and more at FightfulSelect.com. Subscribe there so that you don't have to read inaccurate news that's been aggregated poorly. I'll just put it that way. Pulling no punches tonight, Reg, because we have to get in it. I don't know who is on the Fightful chat. I'm going to assume that's Sean, but saying that we broke the Leatherface news. Mm-hmm. And we all saw how that turned out. So,
and it wasn't the Japanese legend under there, Sean Ross Sapp, just to confirm. Say it out loud, because that's who I thought it was. That's who I wanted it to be.
That no, because I don't think the Japanese legend would have run Karen Jarrett off when Karen Jarrett was on their side. But
true.
I don't know if that's the victory lap we want to be taking off of that match, but let's dive into what we've got tonight. We've got so much to get through, but we've got some chats to get us started off. Matthew Plus saying money for Barry Manilow at 80. The man has still got it. Well, thank you as always, you scutch Matthew Plus. But we're going to dive right in with what I assume is one of Reg's favorite things on this card, which is great. We got stuff for Reg in our Spot Foo opener here. We got
great
stuff
assumption.
Right. Nailed it. We got Peter Avalon and Dalton Castle in a 4K match that we will talk about later. But we are starting off with our Spot Foo division match. Man, we get Gravity hitting a Samoan drop off the middle rope before hitting a splash for the pin. We've got Gravity getting smooshed by Gringo Loco a couple times in this match, though. A really nice torture rack-ish looking suplex heading into that finish that I liked. But listen, I like me some Spot Foo, but I'm not the Spot Foo fanatic, king of the world, pioneer. Reg, what'd you think of our opener here?
Listen, there's a couple of times when matches happen and you look up the definition of Spot Foo in the dictionary and it's that match. Today, this match, Spot Foo personified. Gravity came and gave his best performance. Gringo Loco is the best base there is, it feels like, in wrestling right now. So I knew it was going to go off. A couple of very amazing spots in this match. Gringo was on the ropes and he springboarded up to the top to do a moonsault to the outside. Absolutely insane work. His legs were crossed or something, like just like some magic that he did. Gravity did his infamous roll up the corner spot into a dive, but instead of doing a dive, he had a very beautiful Hurricane Rana. Dropped Gringo on the floor. Just great work from both people. Gringo hit a super inverted angle slam to really destroy Gravity. I thought that was going to put him away. But as I came to see with this episode, Kate, there was a lot of surprising victories and a lot of surprising winners in this show, and this was starting it out exactly right there.
Yeah, this did kind of set the tone for what was a little bit of a surprising episode. To your point, there were definitely some surprise wins in this from where I was sitting too, and I felt like We've been on a heater the past 2 weeks, and I felt like this was still a good episode. I think because of those surprises, I was a little bit thrown off by some of the things that happened here. Certainly nothing bad, and we are seeing a continuation of a lot of stories, which definitely helps. But one thing I really liked in this match was, even though it is textbook spot foo, as you were pointing out, Gringo Loco being such a good base, it does have a little bit of a different flavor. There's a lot of hard-hitting stuff in this as well. So I just like how it does feel a little bit more, and I guess a non-literal sense, grounded in the way that we get our episode started here. I gotta say, the Samoa Joe Gravity walkaway spot has kind of ruined anything Gravity does on the top rope for me now, because I just need the slow Samoa Joe walkaway spot. But that's my favorite spot in basically all of wrestling. So what can I say? But we got Ricardo El Notorio saying, love for Reg's shirt. Party on, homeboy. Party on.
Big time, baby. It's summertime, Ricardo.
It is summertime, but what about my shirt? I have a Happy Wrestling Ian Riccaboni shirt that was gifted to me from
That is a lie, Kate. Wrestling is not happy ever. Every time I get online, everybody's upset at something all the time.
Not Ian Riccaboni, though.
True.
I believe it was you who coined the phrase.
Yoo-hoo.
Pro wrestling. Yoo-hoo. I believe it was you who said pro wrestling. That's what pro wrestling is all about. Disappointment.
Yes.
I think, I have that in my.
That was me.
Make it a quote folder on my phone, because it's unfortunately too relevant sometimes.
A lot of people set themselves up to it. That's what the funniest part about it is, Kate, is like sometimes we could not be disappointed, but we like make all these fantasy bookings in our head, and then it doesn't happen. And we're just like, I can't believe this thing that I made up in my head didn't happen.
It is amazing how often I set myself up for disappointment, and also fully knowing that set myself up for disappointment, and then that thing happens later. So I just love to hurt my own feelings for literally no reason. But
totally.
That's what we're out here doing. So we'll move right along to our Pure Rules match, and we went from Reg's wheelhouse right into mine in one of my favorite Pure match finishes ever, because we get Josh Woods just punching him in the face.
That's it. Yep.
You get one closed fist punch, and he said, I'm going to make it count. And now I need somebody getting punched in the face every Pure Rules match. Use this to your fullest advantage, but I loved this finish. We get Woods standing up and punching Silas Young right in the face to break up a pinfall attempt. He gets his warning, of course, but then he just goes and hits a really, really great looking running, twisting vertical suplex in the corner, dropping Silas Young right on the dome for the win. But man, there was a lot to like about this. I loved Woods taking Silas Young down earlier in this match, but Silas Young countering with a really nice chaos theory for the 2 in this. This was a whole heck of a lot of fun. We don't see Smart Mark Sterling here, which is of note. It seems like Josh Woods is breaking away, which I think is a healthy move. Josh Woods should be, in my opinion, somebody that is working the Pure division. Reg, what are your thoughts?
Yes, this was great. I like everything that's happening with Josh Woods, kind of what we've been talking about on this podcast. Get him in the Pure division, let him be a big badass like he is, and let him show it. This is exactly what he should do too, Kate. Like, they made it, the commentary, as always, here we go again. The commentary is amazing. They always are great at everything. They know how to put over every moment. Before the match started, they said, yo, you get one closed fist, and that's it. To establish this little finish here, Josh Wood goes, clobbers him with a closed fist, and then destroys Silas Young in the corner with the suplex. Great finish. Josh Woods, man, he's one of those guys. He's next up. He should have been up there for a while, but I'm excited that he's here, honestly.
I'm really excited that he's here too. Woods is the goods, not only a Twitter handle, but just the darn truth of it, Reg. Really liked what we saw here tonight. It's kind of ambiguous what the Shibata title reign is, right? Because he was out of New Japan. Doesn't feel like he's working New Japan a ton right now, but he's clearly making the rounds, and I don't think like on bad terms or released from them or anything like that, but does feel like his focus is a little bit more the Pure title. Josh Woods coming back to reclaim it feels like a really healthy move. from not only the perspective of let's run it back, but from the perspective of let's give it to someone that's not Daniel Garcia or Wheeler Yuta. Like, let's give it to someone who's sticking around ROH, who lives and breathes this brand, who was your pure champion before things shut down. Yep. I feel like he is the right guy to strap this specific title to. And my God, every time I watch him, I'm like, I need him and Stu Grayson in a ring together.
Wow.
So
yeah.
Thinking.
Strap him up. Strap him up. He's going to be great for the pure division. But honestly, though, being able to see Shibata just kind of have a full new career here in Ring of Honor with the pure championship is awesome. But yeah, Josh Woods, if somebody's going to beat Shibata for that championship, Josh Woods is high on the list.
Yes, I agree. And it is wild. And it does feel fitting that the wrestler has the pure title.
Yeah.
Like
it's almost like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's as poetic as you can kind of get in that regard. But oh my goodness, one LT photo who put my Wednesday night show, The Mark Order, on television front and center in a really nice shot. Bowens was going crazy in front of it. It looked like he was really excited about the Mark Order podcast, but also getting Tuesday Night Sour Graps lore onto the program. I didn't see it. I will go back and look for it. That's amazing if it was on camera. Cool. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Thanks, bruv. I love that you know Ricky Rainbow is maybe British, maybe not. He's a mystery. This is amazing to me. Thank you so much. I will go back and take a screen grab of it. I can't believe I didn't see it. Foolish of me. But good stuff here. And it's just nice to have things to be invested in again. Josh Woods is someone you want to invest in. Really, really, really good stuff here. We get Maria Kanellis backstage with Layla Hirsch setting up a match later. I really, really liked this. Maria Kanellis says she's scouting for an army to protect the kingdom, and Layla Hirsch walks in there and basically says, all right, what have you done for me lately, Maria? I love this. She says, yeah, you've brought me a couple of matches, but like none of them are real competition. And we set up Layla Hirsch and Rachel Ellering later, her second appearance on this brand, and we'll get into that a little bit later on, but any thoughts on the promo that set this up?
Yes, super strong stuff here by Maria, who's surprised by this. Like, she's always been great. But yeah, incredible promo, just kind of her getting into why she wants to expand the kingdom. And because for a while, it was just like, well, why is Maria standing out here? So for her to kind of break down where's this going and say, yeah, I'm watching these people for a reason. I'm going to start expanding. We're going to move forward. Layla Hirsch was one of those. Layla Hirsch was standing off to the side, eavesdropping, listening, because she just walked right in there and was like, yo, Marie, what are you talking about? You paid me some money. I spent it. We had a good time, but you were like, you didn't do anything for me crazy. And so they set up the match. I thought it was very strong from both, letting Layla Hirsch get a little promo time in, let her establish that she's more than just, what do you call her, mini Taz or
Little Lady Taz.
Little Lady Taz, yeah. She's more than just Little Lady Taz that she could talk to.
That is true. That's not an insult, though. That is the highest of compliments. I'm a big Taz fan, and she does remind me of Taz as a little lady. I like it. I like it a lot, but time to switch over into MVP of the brand world here. My goodness, we get a proving ground match between Athena and Brittany J.
Yes.
And kind of Ian Riccaboni, okay? He wasn't in this match, but he was catching some strays out here. Athena making it very known that she wants Ian Riccaboni to rep for her, okay? Can't be Willow getting all the rep, like genius, I think is fair to say, from Ian Riccaboni. I know you've had very strong feelings and mostly positive ones about Ian rapping, but Athena's calling for it, and Ian is ill-prepared today. He looks terrified on commentary when Athena comes over to confront him, but this is a proven ground match. It is ultimately a squash, but we have some chats coming in about this. Meet Norma saying, tonight's ROH was brought to you by Dark Elevator, 5 women's matches in 2 hours. Is that even allowed in this country? Now,
I don't think so.
A lot of them had stories.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the difference maker here. Like this is sowing the seeds for what's going to be blooming later in this women's division. This is a lot of really, really great talent that I'm very excited about. But it does feel really refreshing when it doesn't feel like a wrestling program is like, and now the women. Like, it's not like
here they come.
Look at us. squeezing the women in at this
Mhm.
very specific time slot all the
Mhm.
time, and we'll see if any of them can make the SummerSlam card or a main event or whatever. Like, this has felt like a very authentic building of a division to get like just great wrestling on the card, because they're choosing the right women's wrestlers and they're just telling stories in a very logical way. Now, we're talking about this in ROH. Thursday night also has Impact on the other end of this. The knockouts, always the consistent force. Kind of feels like Thursday night is ladies' night, and I am here for it. This was a glorified squash, but Athena just looking so nasty as usual. After screaming at Rhea Riccaboni, she does get back in the ring and counters a nice head scissors from Brittany J with a cartwheel here, hitting a pop-up power bomb, and man, those forearms look nastier by the week, man. I am loving those. What are your thoughts on this match?
I have a lot of thoughts, Kate. After this match, I spent the rest of the show thinking about this. I don't know. I was off the show last week, as people notice. I don't know if I missed the week before that and the week before that, but when did Athena become this pseudo baby face that's like happy and high-fiving people and becoming friends with Billie Starkz? I'm like, how many episodes of Ring of Honor did I miss? Because I feel like I just missed last week, but I feel so behind. Like, things have changed so much since she was smashing faces. And I mean, I remember her doing the thing with Diamante a few weeks ago and being like, hey, you're cool, you're stepping up, which was kind of soiling the seats for this. But this whole Billie Starkz thing is just changing my mind. I don't know how we got here, but I'm excited about it because Athena has been dominating as the heel champion and has kind of ran the course on what you could do with that. So to kind of flip it to this tweener in between thing, because I can't really believe her, because she has been pretty devious for a very long time, and she's still being pretty devious while doing the things that she's doing here. But yeah, I was very confused as like, why is Athena, like, she used to just smash faces in, call someone a porcelain hussy and run home, but things have changed.
I'm very intrigued by the Billie Starkz angle, because I feel like it's almost a recruitment to make Billie Starkz her young lioness, but I feel like it's going to be a short-lived can they coexist angle, but I think a good one. I think one that's going to be really productive from both of them. I'm sure they'll have a tag match and it might break down or whatever, but to your point, it's just one of those things where I think she's really over. It's almost felt like Samoa Joe to me, where it's like, I know you're a heel, but watching you lay your shit in like that makes me really happy as a wrestling fan.
True.
And there's nothing I love more than when wrestlers get over because of their wrestling. Like, it doesn't happen a lot. Happened with Danielson, happened with FTR. There's a couple others. Seth Rollins is probably a good example of that. I guess that was his theme and his just commitment to wrestling.
There's a couple of things.
I'm with Phil on the value of Seth Rollins. I'll say that much, but it doesn't happen that often. I think it happens even less frequently with women. So it's just very cool to see that, just like, you're like, holy crap, she just is here to beat ass every week. And then you're like, holy crap, she's just here to beat ass every week.
That's it. Yeah, that's her thing. What's Athena's thing? She beats people up really bad, then she laughs about it, and then next week she's gonna do it again. Yeah, it's like when the formula is not really hard to get behind, it's like, wow, Athena's an incredible talent. She's been defending this championship for a long time. She beats people up. I'm eventually gonna cheer her eventually.
Yes, and I do think as well, we're now starting to see everything that's been invested in this title reign start to pay off. Like, she has been so dominant, and now we're starting to see her call shots, right? Like Diamante, she was like, you're never going to beat me, but you've got what it takes, and you need to go do this. Billie Starkz, she's like, I see this in you, and I'm going to try and pull it out of you in this specific way. So it's kind of cool to see now that start to pay off for other women in the division coming up. That's what successful title reigns freaking do.
That's how you do it.
I adore that. We've got some more love for this, because of course we do. Shotkid29 saying the roster of amazing women who are anchoring ROH on top of the stories going. I love it. And it's all thanks to Big Dog Stoke. I'm not going to do that. It feels like a little racist.
There you go. Thank you.
Uncomfortable. I'm gonna just back off of that, but I appreciate the chat, and it was in the chat.
Thank you.
But some really good stuff, and that does take us right into. I mean, this in some ways was my match of the night, right? We've got
easily
one of the best big men in the history of the world being super intimidating, and Samoa Joe versus the boys. Stokely Hathaway, fresh out of the G1, coming in with Samoa Joe, and what was a fun match here. Like, this is just Stokely's facial expressions and the presence he walked in with it's just fantastic. Ricardo Notorio saying, Joe noping Stoke was sweeter than ice cream. Yeah, this was a whole bunch of fun. We got Stokely saying that he wants to get the win, and Joe goes for the muscle buster. So Joe just kind of holds up and toys with one of the boys and then walks away, and Stokely just flies off the rope and eats it. Hysterical stuff. And then we get Stokely choking out one, I can't remember which boy. I think it was Brandon, but Coquina Clutch put him away. This was a whole mess of fun, like we kind of figured it would be. Nice to see in-ring legends Stokely Hathaway back at it, but this was also really fun to break up what was kind of, I don't want to say an overpacked card, but a dense one for sure. This was very match heavy. It was a little bit longer of an episode. What were your thoughts on this extremely serious match?
5 stars on the Meltzer scale of judging matches. Very easily put Stoke in the Hall of Fame. He's
should be in the Tokyo Dome.
He did a couple of lucha spots in here, a couple of great arm drags to really change the thing. He was bumping and saying he was selling really well. I was like, wait a second, Stokely. Like, I don't wait, this is a little bit better than what this is supposed to be out here. Like, Stokely's really trying to show, like, no, I can really wrestle out here. It's not a joke. And we want jokes, Stokely. We don't want you out there being a great wrestler. I want you to be terrible. I want it to be horrible. And it was pretty good. No, the finish of this, I laughed out loud. He set him up. Stokely's like, I want to go to the top. And we're all just like, what? What do you mean? What are you going to do when you get up there? So he tries to do the worst double axe handle of all time. And Joe just moves him out of the way, and he just splats. Perfect way to end this match with what I was talking about of Stokely trying to be like this serious wrestler. And then in the end, it's like, no, you're not, dude. You're going to just do a big splat at the end. It's going to end like a Looney Tunes cartoon, and we're going to get out of here. Perfect way. Great. Way better than I even expected. Like, I kind of expected just Samoa Joe to just beat him up and then tag Stoke in and come in and pick up the scraps, but no, he got involved and they made it a really fun match. I loved it.
Yeah, this was super fun. Stokely is a trained wrestler. He wrestled on the indies, but excelled in this managerial role now on the board of directors. So this was fun to see his chops come out here a little bit, but to me, I loved Samoa Joe toying with all of his prey in the ring the entire time. Like, he was crushing the boys, but also had Stokely in the palm of his hand and just decided to show him mercy when he felt like it. Like, it's such a fun thing to do with Samoa Joe because he's just legit so menacing. He just choked out CM Punk on Saturday, right? So this was a whole bunch of fun. I've loved their interactions, and having this match in there was a nice touch as well. We move on to the Gates of Agony, defeating Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. They come out with their belts as if they're defending them. They are the trios champs.
3 of them.
They have the 6-man belts. This was a little bit weird from that perspective. This match was just kind of there for me. There was nothing wrong with it, but in a 2 hour and 15-minute episode, I don't know if this really needed to be there because, again, racking up W's in a division that they're not in just doesn't feel like the best use of time. But we get Daniels coming back into this match after Sydal eats a whole bunch of punishment, and he just gets set up by Leona for a fireman's carry into a gut buster for the pin. I gotta say, Leona and Khan, like, very explosive, especially for their size, and they are making statements week after week. It just doesn't feel like they're the most relevant wins because this isn't the division they're in. But nothing wrong with this match, but just nothing that I needed to see necessarily. Always impressive in the ring, though. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Toa and Khan are very explosive. They scared me a few months or weeks ago against Sting. Like, I was like, they're going to kill Sting in the ring like the one time. But when they're not in there with people, fragile legends, they look amazing. When they do that kick power bomb off the apron spot, it's just disgusting. I think they're very talented tag team. Sydal and CD kind of just exist in this ROH realm of being legendary figures that were a part of the past that are just good to kind of represent in spots like this here. So I wasn't too mad at it. I kind of want to see, no, I don't want to kind of want to see, I want to see the Mogul Embassy lose those trios Ring of Honor championships, because I think it'll benefit another team even better. And we need to get Brian Cage over with Big Bill and maybe just put it on the light skin tandem of Top Flight.
See,
they got a new black friend. They went through they're like, who's black back here? Can you fly? Yes.
Oh, Lee, what's
Come
up?
outside.
Yeah, I don't want them to do that because they are never a trio. It's just it's Darius and Andrade and another guy.
Another black guy.
Yeah, that's might as well be Token from South Park.
Seriously. They're running out of black guys back there. No, they won't. They'll get more.
It's true. We've got to loop back on some chats because we just always have more Athena love and some more love for this angle, of course. Doesn't surprise me that we're getting a little bit more of this. But so the Samoan Rough Riders versus Cole and MJF at All Out. I don't know, man. If MJF is ducking Sean Dean, I can't imagine how much he's ducking someone as intimidating as Stokely Hathaway.
They have history too, and I know MJF's scared. He's been scared for a long time, so I wouldn't think so. Yeah.
He's scared running, and quite frankly, he has a friend in Adam Cole. So, like, if there was a time to do it, it would be while he has a bestie to help keep him safe from Stokely. But I don't know. I don't think that's gonna be the one. But me, Norma saying, what do we call a potential Athena stable? A gaggle of hussies, hussy heroes. Either way, I'm here for it. I would love it if they went in that direction. I think they would probably go in the minion way, but a
gaggle of hussies is crazy.
A gaggle of hussies sounds like I'm watching a nature show, and there's like a gaggle of hussies getting attacked in the wild. I love it though. I love it. And Ricardo chiming back in saying a murder of hussies.
A murder of hussies.
That is I think we're all in agreement that it needs to go the hussy direction and not the hussies direction. It's got to be the hussies.
They're trying to be PC though, I guess. Like, you can't like hussies. There's kids. Starkz is only 18. Like, I get it.
It's not on television. It's on a streaming service. You can get away with shit, man.
Yeah.
But we have an exciting first, and it doesn't have to do with ROH. It has to do with us getting our first sponsor here. And that comes from the No Shave Man Cave, which is one of the best podcasts in wrestling out there. They're celebrating over 100,000 downloads, which is a very exciting milestone for them. But it's wrestling reviews from 2 disabled armed forces veterans. I was really hoping we were going to have the infantry on the show tonight, like in full force. So I got to do this read, but not quite. I probably should have saved this for Trish Adora, but we got Jason and Ellie Hare at the helm of this, a jarhead of 28 years and a veteran of 24 years. They bring a very engaging conversation, and they talk about wrestling, but they're also talking about bourbon and barbecue and whatever else they want. And at the end of every month, they do a special show that's specifically about mental health, which is obviously something, especially military-wise, that is really important and a really underserved conversation. So we not only thank them here at Fightful for their service, but for keeping those conversations going. I know Alex Cardoza, who I do Friday night shows with, that's something that he's very passionate about, as well as he served as a Marine. Really, really cool to see them kind of shaking off those stigmas. So please go give them a listen. They are live every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube and on Rumble at 6 p.m. Eastern, just reviewing some wrestling. So
go listen, you guys. Yes.
Go listen. The No Shave Man Cave, you can find them wherever you listen to podcasts, and they're also on Twitter or X or whatever the heck that is called, on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, TikTok, and whatever other social media can lead you to the No Shave Man Cave. So please check them out. It was really cool that they jumped in to sponsor and support us. Please go back and support them as well. So I just appreciate them being here. And 100,000 downloads is a major milestone. Wow. Very, very, very cool stuff. So check them out. And we will check out this next match that we have, but not before Matthew Plus chimes in from the Barry Manilow concert again. Saying the Mandalore concert is so good that I'm sending chats. Are you on a date with like a 70-year-old? What are you doing?
Hey, I feel you, Matthew. Take them to the Manilow concert, or they take you to the Manilow concert. I mean, either or.
We know you
Pull
like
up.
the moms. Okay, we know you like the moms, and here
The age range changes all the
we
time,
are.
you guys. Be way up there sometimes. Can be down there sometimes. I don't. It depends.
It ranges. You're non-discriminatory, and we love that about you. Well, there's no segue into this from Barry Manilow and MILFs, so we're
Not
just going to go into Madison Rayne versus Danny Moe.
Not at all.
This was not the best match on the card, in my opinion. I hate to be overly critical of the ladies, especially because I'm always rooting for it, but this just didn't really click in, and I felt like Danny Moe actually might have had the better match at a Madison Rayne, because the ending played in this for me, and it just didn't click the way that I think it was meant to. You have Danny Moe laying in some pretty nasty kicks, and it just kind of felt like Madison Rayne no-sold it a little bit, because she kind of just grabbed Danny Moe and then hit the cross Rayne for the win. Nothing like egregiously bad, but on a very high caliber card like we had tonight. Wasn't my favorite thing. I'm a big Danny Moe fan. She works the Northeast a lot. I've gotten to see her in action quite a few times. She's fantastic. I'm really glad that she got this opportunity. She's great. Hope to see more of her in the future, but I don't know. This didn't click in for me, but maybe it did for you. Any thoughts?
You know, like there's a couple of matches that could have got cut from this show, and this was on the line too. They all can't be hitters. They're all not the greatest, and they're all just sometimes matches. And this is what that was.
Wow, I can't wait to talk about Cole Carter with you then later.
Oh no, I was hoping we would skip that.
Matthew Plus sending him more money for single moms. I don't know where you think this money goes, but like, I'm not a single mom.
It doesn't go.
Reg is not a single mom.
No, neither one of us.
I don't think anyone at Fightful is actually a single mom, but
maybe he's saying so. Well, like if he gives it to me, then I'm gonna spend money on single moms.
Oh yeah, you're gonna take her out. I like that. I like.
Shout out to you, Matthew.
Saying ROH was so good tonight. Were you watching that at the Barry Manilow concert too?
You got a lot going on out there, Matthew. Watching the show, talking to us.
Invested in Matthew Plus's Barry Manilow trip right now.
Like we should be listening to your podcast right now, talking about being at the Barry Manilow concert, watching Ring of Honor, and listening to us.
Yeah, I think I need to know what hits he's playing, but we'll move along to the Dark Order. Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex.
Like we're supposed to be keep moving on. We're not supposed to have any banter. We got it.
I know we're trying to move it along for the Impact crew tonight, so I'm trying, but I gotta be honest, like I'm a little distracted because I need to know what the hell Matthew Plus is doing at a Barry Manilow concert whilst super chatting, and I want to know what songs he's playing. So, but instead, we're gonna talk about the Dark Order versus Corey Calhoun, Isaiah Broner, and Lord Cruz. This was fun. I was kind of laughing because as commentary was talking about how this Dark Order turn seems to be taking, like they're now have like respect for the righteous and they've been more violent of late and all these things. John Silver got caught up in the ropes. I don't know if you caught it. The camera cut away from it pretty fast, but like people are chanting Johnny Hungy at him and he's caught up in the ropes. And I was just laughing because Ian Riccaboni's like talking about how there's this new side to them. And I was like, not that new of a side.
It's still some in there. Some of the old John Silver, Johnny Hungy.
For sure. But this match doesn't last long. The Dark Order takes Calhoun's and sends him to the Dark Realm for the pinfall. Perfectly good squash here. This is just to keep the momentum going of the story that we have with the righteous, which I'm perfectly fine with. Any thoughts here?
Great to see my friend Isaiah Broner on here. I think he's now the AIW Intense Champion. Like, just won a great championship over there. Great to see him on display. He got a lot of time here in this match. Got beat up by a lot of the Dark Order, but that's what you need sometimes. Sometimes you need to see this. And also on the Dark Orders and them getting more aggressive. Johnny Hungry was really on display here tonight. I like everything that they're doing. Probably the best story still being told here in Ring of Honor. Still invested on what's going to happen next, and still in on the righteous and Dark Order stuff.
Agreed. And I'm excited to see the Dark Order, but I gotta say, like, anytime Vincent and Dutch are on the screen, it feels like, oh my God, okay, time to pay attention. So I'm looking forward to what I assume we'll get next week and the things after that. But I really loved the production of those vignettes. That's not a dig at the Dark Order at all. That's just man, when I see Vincent in like his white suit with this stark white background and he's just being all weird and Dutch has his weird tongue out and all these things, ends up really feeling like, all right, you got my attention kind of thing. We move on to this Claudio promo that was a really good promo. And man, if he was ever around to defend his title, I would call it a great promo. But some good stuff here. And I try not to too often be like, how did WWE miss on this guy? Because it's very easy to miss on people. You know what I mean? Like AEW missed on Stu Grayson the first time around and he had to leave and come back, right? It's easy to do that. But maybe at the top of that list is Claudio. Like, he was someone that while he was in WWE, I was like, how are they missing on this guy?
Yeah.
They didn't love his promos. And I feel like he's been knocking these out of the park, especially since he turned heel. Like, really, really good stuff in there. But he says he's not always around, but he's always watching, which I liked. He acknowledges that he's kind of an absent champion, but he makes note that this is his first world title. Also really nice to root into this story. He says that Jericho didn't care about it, but it's his job to kind of keep the riffraff out of title picture, like Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe and Pac. This is good stuff. I think Eddie's coming back for it. It was just kind of funny because he was kind of still as a heel, but giving a lot of like pride to the Ring of Honor brand. And I'm like, well, why don't you come defend it then? So that's kind of my thoughts. My dream, Eddie Kingston beats Claudio at Grand Slam for that ROH title. That would be like the most Kate moment in the world because I'm going to be there. But we will see what happens. What did you think of this promo from Claudio tonight?
I thought it was pretty strong. There's been a couple of these Claudio promos where I'm like, oh, I don't know, bro. Maybe not. Maybe you should have cut that one. But this one was strong. It was long. He really got into some stuff and he really established who he is. He was lying for a lot of it, but I mean, that's what heels do. Heels are supposed to lie. They're supposed to come on and say, oh, yeah, I'm a defending champion. I'm this and this, even though we haven't seen this guy in weeks and months and years. But he did tie it in by being like, I did do blood and guts. I did have all these matches back to back. I am still going hard, just not here as the Ring of Honor champion. But also I am keeping out the riffraff so nobody else can defend the championship. Which is it, Claudio? Do you want the belt to be something or do you want it not to be something? You can't be in the middle. Give it up if you want it to have some prestige or come and defend it.
Agreed. I think they were trying to walk the line of I show up when I can to keep people away from this title, but I am preoccupied with other things. So I do appreciate that he's like, when I do come around, it's because I don't want guys like these guys holding that title. But as a fan, it reads as, why don't you want to be around the promotion that you are champion of? So I appreciate the attempt to tie all that together. It just falls short a little bit in that, but well delivered, well executed. Just, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but the smoke and the mirrors were mostly driving. So we'll take it. And then we move on to Reg's match of the night. Cole Carter defeating Griff Garrison. Look, I don't want to pick on Cole Carter. I don't want to pick on wrestlers in general, except Dominic Mysterio. But on ROH, it's very tricky because it is half a developmental brand and half like some of the best wrestlers in the world. So it's just a very tricky thing to balance when you'll randomly get like, here's El Desperado or whatever. But then on the other hand, you have guys like Cole Carter who still have a ways to go. I felt like Griff Garrison looked better in this than Cole Carter did. He kind of came out with some hard-hitting offense early. Like, I liked him having that fire because Griff Garrison, we know Brian Pillman Jr. has now gone to NXT land. He had one appearance and then it's just kind of been floating around. I would like to see Griff Garrison get on a track. He was always the one that I kind of jived with more out of the Varsity Blondes. But we get some hard-hitting chops and then a Falcon Arrow from Cole Carter for the 2 count and Maria coming down afterwards. I just don't yet buy the idea that Cole Carter is who you go and get if you're trying to protect your kingdom. It feels like Maria's mission statement and what we're getting out of Cole Carter are a bit at odds so far. So not the best here, and I'm weary of the direction this is going. But there's going to be some of this, right? There's going to be people who are learning to sharpen their iron under the lights here. Matthew Plus, of course, chiming in from the Barry Manilow concert saying Cole Carter was so good tonight. I guarantee you he did not see this match. It is just busting balls. But any thoughts on this?
Kate, there's a million different wrestling streaming services you could pull up. You could pull up IWTV, Fight Plus. You could pull up New Japan. You could pull up all of them in the world. Cole Carter spends his time pulling up the Peacock Network, typing in Austin Theory matches in the search engine and pressing enter. He don't look up nobody else's matches but Austin Theory's. Listen, there's a whole bunch of there's Rey Mysterio, Masawa, Canyon, King Kong Bundy. These are all other wrestlers that can be studied. Instead, you're like, no, I have to study the great, amazing, one of the best United States champions of all time, Austin Theory. That's the only one that's the guy that inspired me. That's who I want to be like. That's who I want to look like. That's who I want to do all my moves like. That's how I'm going to make it out of here. I'm going to have my match with John Cena at WrestleMania one day too. Bro, watch somebody else.
I don't know why, but the notion of Cole Carter watching King Kong Bundy just destroyed me to my core. Sure, yeah, maybe he could expand the playbook a little bit beyond Austin Theory.
And Griff Garrison, I don't want to leave him out too. I would rather watch the Guns wrestle.
Whoa. Those are strong words from Reg, because next to Ian Riccaboni's rapping is the Guns as far as your favorite things in the whole wide world. But we will regrettably move along from this conversation. Guys, get in your super chats and your humper chats. We are a little over halfway through. Thank you to our Impact post show for being patient while we keep plugging along at this card. We'll get some more super chats and humper chats locked in, including Meet Normus, who says, Meet Normus, also here for Dalton Castle's intro. He's a media peacock. If you disagree, I'll set this chat on fire. Strap him up appropriately. Yeah, let's get into you know what? I have my notes out of order. This isn't where this come in, but we will get to Dalton Castle defeating Peter Avalon in not that long. Sorry, my notes are choppy all over the place. Matthew Plus sending in money for Bundy, and saying Maria is thinking about her other kingdom in this.
Yeah.
Billie Starkz taking on Charlette Renegade, and Billie being Athena's young lioness, young minion in this is really, really fun. Matthew Hook saying, Billie Starkz is a star. Glad she's on every week. Yeah. It's kind of incredible to me that the thing that was holding her back from being on every week was she needed to finish high school. She's so good at this already and so good at so many aspects of this. And by the way, I'm pretty sure she was like valedictorian, which is just nuts, as she was like that proficient while training and all of this. But Renegade hitting a backslide here for a 2 count, but Starkz hitting this kind of neutralizer move for the win. Really, really liked this. We get Robin Renegade running in, and the Renegade twins start beating on Billie Starkz, but Athena runs down to make the save in what was kind of a surprise move that got kicked off last week while you were out. Athena saying, come on, minion, let's go in the promo here. Starkz following, but with hesitation. I think we'll probably get like a tag match and then a feud proper out of this. What were your thoughts?
Billie Starkz getting a push here in Ring of Honor is the best thing that's happening, I think, with anything besides Athena. Like, my favorite thing happening now on the show is Billie Starkz being here in all of her glory, tearing it up, because she tore it up in the indies so hard these last couple years while she was in high school, trying to finish up. Now she's done with high school, on her way to being one of the best young wrestling talents in the world. If she's going to have a program with Athena, she's going to get even better. She's showing some personality out here. She's getting some promo time. This is great, a great introduction for her. Off the backs of this, people are going to be all in on Billie Starkz.
They are, and she's already
Kate's muted. I think maybe, I don't know.
Hey, I'm back. Wonderful internet kicking in again, but Kylie saying, your fave girlie wanted to say hi and I hope y'all are well. Well, thank you, Kylie. You are our fave girl, and I hope you are doing well too. Thanks for the support tonight. We got a lot of chats coming in. I appreciate
y'all are cool.
Mm-hmm. Y'all are super cool. And medium cool is this Tony Nese and Ari Daivari promo. We'll talk about that closer to the main event, but we move on to, man, if it wasn't Cole Carter that was Reg's favorite thing, it's this and another black guy stable with Darius Martin and Action Andretti, plus Lee Johnson, cousins, defeating Lee Moriarty and the Workhorsemen on what was dubbed by Luis as the worst O'Connor role ever. Not the best that we've seen. This is another one that I felt like was a bit of a mishmash because kind of was like, Lee is out on his own now. And they were like, no, he's not. He's worth the Workhorsemen for some reason. And I didn't love that because I like the way the Workhorsemen are being built as well. And I want to see what Lee can do on his own. But I guess we should just be happy he's not in the stable with Action Andretti and Darius Martin because he is black. So maybe next week. But we got...
It's early.
It is. We've got time for that. But we do have Martin taking what was a pretty nasty twisting butterfly suplex from JD Drake. He's so impressive every time he's out there. Getting broken up by Andretti, who counters a not very good O'Connor roll with a bridge to get the pinfall on Anthony Henry. It was a much more fun match than I was expecting because this was kind of a hodgepodge, but like Lee's style combined with the Workhorsemen kind of made for a fun contrast, Reg.
Yeah, I thought this match did end up being really fun. Action Andretti and Darius, and they keep getting new partners, and it's like, yo, I see what's going on here, but every time it clicks, it always works. It works well together. I was hoping that Lee Moriarty was going to get a singles push. Like, it seemed like they were setting it up on Twitter. He was kind of setting it up himself, like, oh, I'm on my own now. I don't have anybody, and then they pair him up with the Workhorsemen. Interesting take. Anything that gets Lee on TV, I think, wins for me. So I liked what was going on here. I can't wait. I'm not supposed to. There, you guys don't listen to this part, but I have to say it out loud. When Action Andretti and Darius Martin have Will Washington as their partner, it's going to be really good. Let's move on.
I can't wait to see.
They're going to be like, who's in? Look at that. There's another one. He looks like us too. Bring him in. Can he flip?
He's going to have a new bit on being the top flight.
Yeah.
DTF.
Being the replacement for. Erase this. Lewis, wipe this from the podcast.
You saw nothing. You heard nothing. I'll tell you what we did see in here, though, and it was good stuff. We've got a returning Lady Frost coming in and defeating Trish Adora. Now, I almost have complaints about this. Almost. Because I feel like Trish Adora has taken a lot of losses for someone who maybe shouldn't be, but they've been quality losses against quality opponents. But I want to see her like on a track in stories kicking ass. And she does take the loss here. We've got Lady Frost picking up the win with her Frostbite, which is essentially a corkscrew moonsault that looked really good. Her ducking the clothesline and hitting that spinning kick for the two right before this was fantastic. My favorite spot in the match, though, comes from Trish Adora, who does a stretch behind Frost before putting her foot on her back and just driving her head into the mat. And holy hell, did that look vicious. Following it up with splits on the shoulder, just driving her head down to the mat while she's seated looked so nasty here. I love the in-ring we're seeing out of Trish Adora. I would love to see her in a feud to have these losses go somewhere and maybe mean something, but really, really, really liked this. And Lady Frost returning should feel like a big deal, so it's not like the worst loss in the world, but let's get Trish Adora some wins moving forward. A really good match, though, and women's wrestling continuing to thrive on ROH.
This was a hard one because it feels like Trish Adora was on a trip. They just paired her up with the infantry. It's like they're on their way. They're getting some wins. Feels like they're a tight unit. And last time we saw Lady Frost, 1, 2, 3, she was looking up at the lights. So now she comes back and she's all of a sudden beating Trish Adora. I'm like, wait, I thought Trish was the one. See, this is the kind of things that happens in Ring of Honor, as like, they're like, oh yeah, we have this great wrestler. Can't take anything away from Lady Frost. She's great. She should be getting victories. It's like, they remember, oh yeah, we have Lady Frost. She's great. Let's give her a victory. But then like the victory doesn't really make a lot of sense in what's going on here. But then if it's like, oh yeah, if Lady Frost is getting a win streak, if she's going to get some wins and maybe be able to be a contender for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, then it's all good. So I don't know.
There is a chat that I cannot pull up that you need to read, and I'll just leave it at that. But we got a backstage promo following this from Kiera Hogan, who's with Lexi Nair, talking about how she has had her eye on Lady Frost, and that when you bring the fire, it's going to melt the cold. Love all
Soft
of
white
them.
skin.
I said I couldn't pull it up for a reason. I can't pull it up. But good stuff. Kiera Hogan and Lady Frost is a combination I want to see. I just also want to see Trish Adora in the fold. I'm wondering if maybe Trish Adora has been so good they're thinking about pulling her up to the AEW level, because I feel like they could, but I also feel like the infantry is just getting going. So let's get Trish Adora some wins if she is sticking around. And I'll tell you what was a win for everyone. Dalton Castle and Peter Avalon. This was a match made for Kate. These are just two of my dudes. I love this so much. Peter Avalon just milking his entrance to death. I had so much fun watching him just lean into his own prettiness. He's so funny. And he's one of those performers, much like Dalton, who like the second his music hits, the second he steps out from behind the curtain, he's just giving you 100% of who he is and what he's there to do, like every single time. And I just love that commitment. We also have Dalton Castle, of course, coming in here saying that Honor Club is $9.99 a month, Reg, but that eye contact is free.
Yeah.
I was howling at home. Also, Ian and Caprice not knowing what to do with it, being like, man, that's so meta, was cracking up. But we do get Dalton Castle with the win as expected, hitting the bangerang. But this was a whole bunch of fun. And this, plus the Stokely and Samoa Joe stuff against the boys, is a nice way to break up what was a pretty dense card tonight. So I like having those moments of relief, especially when they're kind of shorter matches too. It doesn't feel like eating too much of the card. But what did you think?
I only had one thought coming out of this, Kate, and it's that these two should join forces, honestly. Like, they should just be a team. Dalton Castle and Peter Avalon are on their way up to the top. I don't think that, I think Dalton Castle, they should both be singles still. They shouldn't be a team, but like, he should join the faction because I think he fit in really well with Dalton and the boys. Just his whole thing. He always has. So that's a whole thing I was thinking this match is like, these guys are a faction together. They're not fighting each other.
I don't hate that. And if you're not going to strap the trios titles on Dalton and the boys, like, it would be kind of fun to have them on the same side of things. The wingmen aren't really a thing anymore. I don't know if CM Punk has anything to do with that or not, but you can read about it on FightfulSelect.com. I agree with you. I would not mind seeing Peter Avalon and Dalton on the same side of things. Dalton Castle, man, I can't emphasize enough how over he is in these very weird tapings. He kind of alluded to that at the end, like, you want to see Dalton Castle, you got to stick around till the end. Like, I really, really liked it. And I so appreciate how he's able to grab the crowd the way he can under what are difficult circumstances realistically at an ROH taping. So a whole mess of fun to be had here. Norma's saying, well, Washington is 100% taking a bump this year. I'm going to leave that alone. And we're going to head into this final promo and our main event here. Shane Taylor, holy crap. This is what we wanted. This is what we needed from Shane Taylor.
I've been waiting.
Into this match with Samoa Joe, giving a phenomenal promo talking about how before Samoa Joe, he was the most successful TV champion of all time. And Shane Taylor Promotions was the best trio of all time. and talking about how the entire time that he was kind of carrying these divisions, all anybody could talk about was the old guard, CM Punk, Danielsons of the world, and Samoa Joe. And he said, back then, there was nothing I could do about it. But now I'm here to fight Samoa Joe. Simple, clean, beautiful, fire, delivered from Shane Taylor. I'm so glad that we have some time to build this with Samoa Joe, because I'm excited to see what Samoa Joe has to say back to him, Reg.
Yeah. Sometimes, Kate, these promos that Shane Taylor did here could feel like a woe is me type of like, I deserve these opportunities, but this did not. This was a great promo by Shane Taylor saying like, no, it isn't about like you guys picking those guys over this. I'm going to beat those guys up and take everything that you guys think I don't deserve. And I've been owed a run with this Ring of Honor Television Championship for a long time. Strong stuff, exactly what we've been waiting for when we knew that he was going to have a match with Samoa Joe. And just like you said, waiting for Samoa Joe's response when he stops, kind of goofing around with Stokely, which I love, by the way. I think it's going to be very strong stuff with Shane Taylor.
Agreed. I'm very much looking forward to that. And that's part of the versatility with a guy like Samoa Joe. He can make the Stokely stuff work, but instantly can snap back in. I'm very, very excited to see that match and the promos we got out of it. Guys, we hit 69 likes. So I just want to say Thank you for being so nice. And we surpassed it. And I can't rightfully ask you to unlike it, because the more the merrier for us. No. But I do just want to appreciate that Luis caught it for us too. So thank you for being so nice, Luis. And we move on to our main event. We did get this promo earlier that I was alluding to from Tony Nese, who says he's going to lead a group fitness class, still pushing this personal trainer angle, which was pretty fun tonight. He talked about, knocking it off with all the unhealthy food and get a veggie burger and put down the cheer wine, which is very specific to the region, and all of these wonderful things all became chants later in this match, which was super fun. But he is going to face somebody from his past. And wouldn't you know it, Metalik shows up. One LT photo saying Nese made a cookout chant breakout.
Yeah.
This is really good. Like, I think Tony Nese with Ari Daivari or Smart Mark makes sense. I feel like Josh Woods breaking away from this is the right call. But this is kind of a fun character development for Tony Nese. I think we know what his role is going to be there, but this was a very, very fun main event, and we get Metalik coming out with the win here, which is cool. It's just also cool to see Metalik around wrestling. Like, he is one of the top wrestlers in the world, particularly in his style. So this was super, super fun and a good way to close it out. Felt like a good main event. Not necessarily of any major consequence, but no complaints about that, because we are starting to see so many more stories start to take shape, Reg.
Yeah, shout out to the 205 Live gang, because that's what this was. A throwback to old 205 Live episodes. Tony Nese and Grand Metalik going at it. Metalik is an awesome luchador who uses the ropes and can fly like no other, and just kind of, I don't want to say been left behind, but when Commander and Vikingo came out, he kind of people maybe forgot about him, but he could do crazy spots like those guys does. He runs the ropes and walks them so wildly. I think it's a great addition to the Ring of Honor roster, and I think this was a pretty good way to close the show, getting more character on Tony Nese, getting more heat on Tony Nese, and then letting Metalik get a nice little win here.
Yeah, I feel like with this character and for what Tony Nese is there to do, him taking some L's is not a big deal, but Josh Woods should be getting wins. So the fact that they've branched off, I think, is a very good sign. And I think while they're branching off, we are going to get a little closer to our Impact crew. Cresta's been putting her face up near the camera, throwing up lip gloss. Joel has been reading.
No, Joel's playing Twitch, I think, or Switch.
He's playing Switch.
He's playing Zelda. He's playing Tears of the Kingdom because he is crying on the inside as well.
You gotta listen for it.
It's tears from listening to us talk about the kingdom. I see.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Ring of Honor goes through periods of dear God, and then look, there's a million matches and every one of them makes sense. And that looks like that's what happened tonight.
Yeah.
That is pretty close to the truth there, Miss Cresta. It is. I think you guys would be very impressed by the fact that I only finished about 10 minutes late, considering what we were up against. We also had a lot of support from the chat. Thank you so much for
Joel
all of
is
your
not
chats
impressed.
all night. Well, I don't care about Joel. I only care about Cresta. So I will only assign weight to her reaction. She looks beautiful tonight,
She
as
looks great.
always.
I'm here to clown. That's what I'm here to do, and I get to do it Thursday with you, lovely people. So
We love that.
Thursday.
I don't want to hold the handoff up too much because you guys are getting a late start, but I think, Reg's favorite match of the night was obviously Cole Carter and Griff Garrison. Mine was the pure match for sure. Josh was just punching someone in the face, and the ending was just fantastic. So good stuff.
Who's bands?
Tetris is what it feels like I have to do on Sundays when I do Fightful Overbooked with Joel. But
Sorry, I didn't see it.
just trying to make everything fit in the right way. But we had some happy wrestling tonight.
Hey.
We'll start over. How was Impact before we get out of here?
Loved it.
I thought Impact was great. Yeah, I just felt like it was very rushed for time. But all can be forgiven because, I got to see Jake something, and Diener didn't get beat up, but, I like Diener.
Touche. Matthew Plus is at a Barry Manilow concert, and it's so good that he keeps super chatting the show with $2 donations. So thank you to Matty Plus.
A Fanalo.
That's it. We're out of here. It's not going to talk.
No one can beat that. No one can beat that.
Nobody can beat that.
Peace. Impact.
Enjoy the Impact show, guys. Thank you for your patience. Sincerely, we had a lot to get through, so thank you so much. Stick around for the Impact show with these two lovelies.
Yes, please.
Bye, y'all.
All right, Cresta, it's time.
It's time.
Why are you still here?
Oh, wow. He said, why are you still here? Get out.
Oh, there is lightning and thunder going on outside my door, outside my window right now.
Thor is coming. That was us the other night, so you're getting what we just had.
Are we? Oh, crap. That's fine. We'll survive. Hi, Cresta Star. How are you?
Hi, I'm very excited because I remember like 2 weeks ago I said, guys, after this show, we're going to go do a Joe Hendry run. That never happened. There was a whole fight in the group, but we got it now. So I'm so excited to do this show tonight, play my wrestling Baldur's Gate, and talk wrestling with you guys. The energy is high. I had to take my cat to the vet, but she's fine. It doesn't matter that I spent all my money. She's fine.
I saw that. Listen, she's fine. That's all that matters, right?
That's all that matters. Help.
You just gotta put a smile on, and everyone will donate a super chat just to support the cat.
Where's my mustache? That's what's really missing.
By the way, for those who were wondering, I was playing Tetris.
I love Tetris. I used to be really good at Tetris, but now I got these decrepit old hands. I can't do it that well anymore.
Y'all gotta get on the level and start playing some Tetris.
All I do is play League of Legends and other games that require my poor hands to be like, please, mother.
No, don't do that. Oh my goodness.
Don't go to Riot Games and download League of Legends. It'll install a virus on your computer called League of Legends. I'm kidding. I love that game. Riot sponsor us. Don't be a coward.
I'll take any sponsorship you give me as long as they're not total dickheads.
True. So then Riot's out. I'm kidding. Let's start this show.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It's August 17, 2023, and it's time for your Impact Wrestling post-show. A couple weeks away from Impact Emergence, and of course, Multiverse of Matches is this coming weekend as well. Plenty to talk about on today's show. I am at Joel Pearl, and as always, I'm here with my number one, my ride or die. Kate doesn't matter because it's all about Cresta, the star. How you doing, Cresta?
I'm doing well. The energy levels are high today. I'm happy to be with you guys. There's a lot of bullying on this episode of Impact. This episode of Impact should have been rushed for time, so we bullied everyone.
Well, don't bully us. Instead, you can go ahead, leave a thumbs up on the video, and subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? We're over 100,000 strong. Hit that milestone on Monday, just before Monday Night Raw. So, of course, we're celebrating in style. What is that style? Talking about Impact Wrestling. That's
period.
Yeah. And, of course, you can donate a super chat if you want to support us with your money. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, or go to humperchats.com. Cresta will tell you how and why and what to do.
So this is what you're going to do. You're like, I don't want to do my donation through YouTube. That's fine. You go to humperchats.com. You put in your dollar amount, your comment. We get to keep a little bit more of your dollar amount. It goes towards the lights, the heating, the pool, the dog, the crabs, the lobsters in the Hudson. And we'll answer your question on air. Humperchats.com. Tell them Joel sent you.
And if you have crabs, there is shampoo for that.
I was talking about the ones you eat.
So was I.
Delicious.
Plenty to talk about tonight's show. I really, really enjoyed tonight's episode of Impact. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the mood. Maybe it was the build. There were some standout matches. There were some standout moments. I'm excited because I'll be going to Emergence in a couple of weeks in Toronto.
Yes.
I am very much looking forward to it as they get closer to the card. Stories are being built. I'm looking forward to it. These Impact Plus shows, these whatever you want to call them, non-traditional pay-per-view shows, typically aren't big, but Impact finds a way to make good stories out of them. So I kind of gave them shit about not having a world title match or an X Division title match and instead lumping them all into one big multi-man match. But it looks like we're getting a lot of really good stuff instead of that. So as we kind of march closer, what were your overall thoughts about tonight's show? And are you still looking forward to Emergence, Cresta?
I am looking forward to Emergence and multiverse of matches for whom the bell tolls. I think there's a lot of impact coming up. So the wrestling fan in me is like, yeah, the person who has to cover these shows are like, oh my God. Is this how Sean feels?
You'd be surprised. Well, no, that's why he just runs off to the UK and gives the all-in post-show to Reg and Phil, to the Grab City guys. So they're going to do that on All Out. No, All In. Sorry, All In.
What's all this then?
What's all in then? Well, he's not going to be at All In because, you know, if you subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, you know that he's doing some work with WWE in the backstage areas. Okay.
Oh, Kurt.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, Impact Emergence, our post show. This is just a programming note. I don't know yet what the plan is. For those of you who are aware of Tim, who was my former host on Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, Tim has a studio nearby. Tim is also unavailable for Emergence. I am trying to figure out what's going to happen. That might mean Cresta and I do a post show the next day, or we figure something out, we record something. Either way, you will not be without an Emergence post show. It just might not be directly after Emergence, which honestly might not be a big deal considering All In is earlier that day, and the post show for that would have been a couple hours earlier.
Well, whatever it is, we're going to make it work for you guys and for us. But now that you said that out loud, we should be doing a post show for Multiverse United or not?
No. We didn't do one for the last one. There's no big, the big title match is arguably there's the Tanahashi and Shelley match, but really in terms of like where a title could change hands, that strong openweight championship match that they announced, the 4-way between Deonna and Giselle Shaw, Momokogo, and of course the strong champion Julia, that is the only one where I'm like, someone else could win, but I don't really see it happening because Julia just won that title. So there's nothing on the card that I'm immediately like, we have to do a post show. Something major is going to happen. We have pals who are going to be there from Fightful. So really they'll be covering it. We will be covering it on the website. I just don't think we're going to do a post show.
Okay, work. I'm glad we got those programming notes out of the way.
I'm being told to break into someone's house. The venue is far from people's houses, so I doubt that's going to happen. I'm better to break into Tim's studio, which I might do.
All right, pull up, Tim. You know what time it is. He said something poutine. I don't speak Canadian.
I'm seeing him tomorrow. We're going to SmackDown. It's fine.
Aww.
Yeah, of course. Listen, my agreement with Tim was always, I'm taking you everywhere that we can go.
That's so cute.
He's my wrestling partner.
I love that.
Of course.
I need one of those in New York. That's not my little brother because Jesus Christ on a biscuit.
Well, let's open up with BTI and, of course, our best pal, George Iceman, who's back in the coffee shops, as he has been for the last few weeks. Really, he's just promoting Impact 1000. No real talk of Emergence. He mentions that there are going to be some big surprises on September 9th when they tape Impact 1000 in New York State. It's far for you, though. It's in White Plains, I think. You're not.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. I'm not going to hold you. I've been covering Impact long enough. And I'm like, I don't think that'd be too terrible. And worst case scenario, I can go stay with my mom. But I love my mom. Anyway, I was thinking about it. Maybe I might dabble. I might see how much the tickets are. I might.
Hey, you might not even have to be rotating. We'll talk about that off the air later on. So anyway, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky's Beautiful People have been announced. Now, here's the thing about Beautiful People. They were a stable with more than just those two. Madison Rayne was a member of that group. And of course, she's with AEW, but that's never stopped AEW from allowing talent to come over and do an Impact show. Lacey Von Erich is probably not going to be making an appearance. And there was a guy in that stable, Cresta. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
I don't know who that stable is.
So,
I thought Maria Kanellis would be in it because she's a beautiful person.
She is.
But
unfortunately, she wasn't.
Okay.
The male member, he went by the name Cute Kip. It ain't Kip Sabian, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, Teehee. Oh, no, he said it's not Kip Sabian. Oh, I don't know, girl. You got me on this one.
He goes by the name Daddy Ass.
He's retired.
I'm sure you'll be talking about that retirement on Saturday on Collision on the post.
Listen, that is a very sensitive time for us, Colliders. Daddy Ass is gone.
Either way, at one time, the Beautiful People included those people I just talked about. Billy Gunn, aka Cute Kip at the time, was a part of that stable. If they allow him to come over for that Impact 1000 taping, I will be very happy. Don't expect.
I would too.
Great. Yeah,
I know. I don't expect it either, but.
Awesome Kong is announced to be there. Team 3D is going to reunite for the first time in many years in Impact Wrestling. That's Bully, and of course, Devon will be there. I don't know if Devon's going to be able to take a bump or do anything because he's got a backiotomy. But like I said last week, his sons are both pro wrestlers. Have them do whatever with Bully, and it would look great.
I agree with that. Or at least have Devon go on the mic because Bully, his promos are good. He get under your skin, but Devon was the preacher, testify. Come on now. Like, I would love him to at least cut a promo.
Hey, the boys getting beat up by PCO, not against that.
Or the boys beating up PCO.
Or the boys beating up PCO. We'll talk about that a little bit. And of course, more surprises by George Iceman as he plugs Impact 1000. And then the match, Swingman taking on Sheldon Jean with Kenny King in his corner. Love it. Swingman versus Kenny King in Emergence for the Digital Media Championship. He's going to discover the internet. Cresta star Johnny Swinger is going to become an internet digital media aficionado. Are you excited for this?
Johnny Swinger has gotten 2 wins in the past 2 weeks. First with Zicky Dice. And no, is it 2 or 3 weeks? Either way, he's won twice. I've been watching and covering the show for a year and some change. This is the first time I've seen him win back-to-back and not on some, hey, you gave me a handshake deal and a hot dog out back, buddy. Honestly, I want him to win it. This is great.
I said it on Twitter or whatever you want to call that app now. I don't care. He's going to come out 1 week like Quagmire from Family Guy when he discovers the internet. One arm going to be jacked to the gills. And he's just going to be like, oh, what's going on over there? He's just going to be completely out of it. And that's going to be Swingman's. He's going to get addicted to social media. He's going to get addicted to Instagram. He's going to be posting reels. He's going to go on TikTok. He's going to become TikTok famous. I swear to God, Johnny Swinger, there's legs to this. If you discover TikTok, you will be a made man.
This is fantastic. The match was fantastic. Him trying to cheat, and the ref was like, you got to take out the fanny pack. And he's like, bro, mind your business.
First of all, when did he start carrying shivs with him?
Homemade prison shivs at that.
I know. He's carrying one in the front pack and then one coming out of his backside. I don't know what that was about, but I loved it. And of course, this whole thing starts with Swingman Must Post. So he's doing full-on like 80s wrestling BS, and I love it. Swinger starts going for a wind-up, and of course, Sheldon Jean turns that into a pump kick. That's some good stuff. Eventually, Kenny King gets up on the apron, goes for a distraction as the referee's trying to get King off the apron. Heath shows up out of nowhere, hits the wake-up call on Sheldon Jean, and then Swingman gets the pin because, of course, he does. So we're setting up some sort of tag match between these four. Good for me. I'm happy with that. This match was fun, Cresta.
This match overall was really great. I will say, Sheldon Jean, you better not too much on Johnny Swinger. He is a senior citizen and elder abuse is a crime.
No, not the elder abuse.
I mean, Johnny Swinger capitalized on it. I was not expecting Heath. Honestly, I was not expecting Heath. I'm not mad at it, but don't build me up for Johnny Swinger to lose now, because I am going to be upset.
It was a really fun match. I'm looking forward to whatever they're going to do with Emergence. If it's on the Countdown show, that's pretty much par for the course when it comes to the Digital Media Championship. However, I just love to see if they put that on the main card, Swingman's got to win. That's all I
agree. I agree. Do it with the fanfare, the confetti, and everything. If you do that, oh my God, the Impact faithful.
I'm going to walk into the building and immediately look up at the ceiling and be like, oh my God, are the balloons up? Are there balloons?
They got to be disco balloons and disco balls.
If you see that venue live, Rebel is, it's trip, man. It is a fun venue. We open up Impact Wrestling, the actual television show, with Deonna Purrazzo versus KiLynn King. This match was absolutely for me. I loved it. They have such good chemistry, do Deonna and KiLynn King. Just King being the bigger woman compared to Deonna. Deonna going for the Hurricane Rana, hitting one, then going for it again, but King overpowering, turning it into that front face slam. There was just some really good stuff. Of course, Deonna has to win eventually. She hits everything. She does her arm bar. She does the Koji clutch, which she rarely does. And then she eventually gets the win with the Venus de Milo. But of course, KiLynn King looks great with this whole match. Talk to me. What do you think about this?
This match was stiff. These girls were beating the hell out of each other. Before I get into what I liked, let me tell you what I dislike. And it was only one thing. The audacity to not give Deonna Purrazzo an intro. The audacity. I feel like Matthew Raywalt here, like, give the virtuosa her respect. I could not believe that. Besides that, this match was great. When she hit the Koji clutch, I was like, I've never seen you do that. And the moment I said that, the commentary was like, bro, she never does it. She rarely does it. And that Venus de Milo, I don't know if it was KiLynn selling or a combination of both. That looked like she was going to tear that girl's arms out the socket. And then when she had the arms crossed in the back, I never want to wrestle. I never want to wrestle Deonna Purrazzo. Not for real, not for play. Never. Oh, that looks so good. She is such a good wrestler. Did I say that Deonna Purrazzo is such a good wrestler? And I love Trinity. But if I'm Trinity, I'm looking at that. I'm like, y'all gotta injure you, bro, because you're not for. That's a joke. That's a joke. But it's like, bro, you're not gonna stretch me like some Play-Doh like that. Oh no, bro. Get out of here.
To me, this is the Emergence main event.
Yes.
Trinity and Deonna should absolutely be the last match to go on. It's a title match. Again, we talked about a world title, X Division Championship tied up in that other match in the tag match. Let's have these women one-on-one. Who's the best? Who's the better one? And you know what? If someone comes back that night afterwards to start setting up whoever wins the match, whoever sets up the next feud, we can start it there. And I think that would be just so much fun. KiLynn King hitting that gotch neutralizer towards the end.
Good.
So good. Again, this match was absolutely for me. The chemistry was there, the communication and the ring awareness of both women. It was right there. And I really, really love this match. So go ahead, find it. It's worth going out of your way for.
I will also say that when KiLynn King moves up the card eventually, I would love to see a salty run back where she pins Deonna. Because I think that these two, the chemistry between them, they got the stones and the stuff. It's giving, I guess what I'm missing from Deonna Grace, I'm getting in KiLynn Deonna.
I get that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on. Gia Miller's backstage with Kenny King. We're following up on the BTI stuff. King says, what do you call a man with no body or no nose? And Gia Miller's like, I don't know. And he says, nobody knows. He says, that's a bad joke. And so is Swingman. He says, Swingman's 748 years old. He has no business challenging for the Digital Media Championship or the DMC, as he calls it, which is basically, that's the company that made the DeLorean. Anyway, Gia points out that Shelton Jean lost on BTI, and King's like, no. We're not worried about Heath. We're going to take him out. And then King says he'll break Swingman's hips and nobody's going to be around to push him. Fun little segment here. This is good stuff.
I liked it. Kenny King is an absolute clown. I'll have you know, as someone who's 4,000 years old, I was there when Johnny Swinger was born, and 700 is a conservative number. This segment was exactly what it needed to be. And just Sheldon Jean in the background, DMC.
Everybody needs a hype man, Cresta.
I love, because okay, so I've been in the Impact tapes. And I feel a little proud that I can make this comparison because that's what Kenny King was doing for Bobby Lashley back in the day.
I like it. I appreciate
each one teach one. Look at me watching all Impact tapes.
Girl does her homework. I appreciate it. I love it. wasn't the best years of Impact, but at least you were putting yourself through the paces.
Listen, it showed up on my suggested, and I think it was the Beatdown Crew, and it was somebody. It was a young MVP. I was like, who is this young man? It was MVP, and Bobby Lashley's like, I don't care about this. I'm just here to get money. And Kenny King doing exactly what Sheldon G, get money.
First ever IWGP Intercontinental Champion MVP. Get your facts straight. Anyway, Santino's backstage with Kevin Knight, calls him a panther. It's just so stupid. Bully walks in. This segment had so much going on, and I loved it and loathed it simultaneously. So Bully walks in, does his I'm a badass routine, and tells Kevin Knight to take a hike. And then he's like, Santino, I gotta talk to you. And then he starts going like, oh, I need your help. I need protection. And he's just being a total chicken shit, and it's perfect. And then all of a sudden, as he's pleading his case, Musa Myers walk into frame, and then he gets hard again. And he's just like, so yeah, we gotta do something about this PCO. You better get him in line. And I'm dying. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, Brian Myers wants a match against Alex Shelley tonight, and Santino's like, no, I'm not doing that. So next week they're going to do Shelley and Myers. Shelley walks in and does his yep routine, which is fun. So it's a title match. And then Moose and Myers are calling their emergence opponents cowards. And then Kevin Knight walks in. He's like, no, you can't talk about my tag partner Kushida like that. So Santino makes Moose versus Kevin Knight tonight. Buddy, we're going to talk about that match. But first, let's talk about this segment. It was everywhere and nowhere all the same time.
This was literally Fightful overbooked, bro. That's what that was. That was overbooked.
Fightful overbooked.
Period. Don't forget to subscribe now. Come on now. But like it was overbooked in the best way, because it was like, okay, this, great. You have just been watching this for 30 seconds.
They set up one match for tonight, and they set up one match for next week, and it worked.
Honestly, Bully doing this, but I set him on fire. I don't understand how he's here, and trying to look hard for Moose and Myers. Okay, whatever. But Moose, you could give him a hot dog and a handshake, and he would come to work and beat people up for free. The fact that he gets paid to beat people up, there's only one other person professional wrestling that I know. No, two other people, and that's Randall Keith Orton and Lance Archer. You could give them White Castles, and they will come to work and beat up your whole roster. The fact that you pay them is a plus. So you can't be weak around Moose, because Moose will kick your head off and set your house on fire.
For everyone who gave Bully shit when he started back in Impact, and then we were both not big on it to start. This to me is why you keep a guy like Bully around, because it was one of those segments where when he pulls over Santino and says, "You gotta help me, I'm so scared," and it's perfect. It is it's. I'm sorry, I'm gonna borrow his line. That's heat, and it's the right amount of heat, and it's so fun. And you know what? I appreciated it. And then of course Musa Myers walking in, and all of a sudden he just does a 180, and he's Bully Ray again, and he's that guy. I liked it. So let's move on. Killer Kelly, Savannah Evans, and Jessicka. She's very sick, although she was shouting it from the rooftops tonight.
She had it tonight. She had it. Seriously.
Jessicka pushes Killer Kelly at the beginning, tells her she must be this tall to ride.
That was the best line of the night, because I've used that in real life. And the fact that she used that in a wrestling match, that's how I know you guys just as jokes.
Kelly goes up top instead, takes down both women with a crossbody to open the match. It's good stuff. It's two much bigger women versus Killer Kelly, who was a tag champion, knockouts tag champion. She hits a sleeper hold on Jessicka and holds on for a while. Eventually they finish. Killer Kelly actually gets the win by dropping Savannah Evans on top of Jessicka with that DVD and then getting the victory. It was a fine match. It was a good match. I don't really have much to add other than it just existed because these three women are going to be part of that multi-team knockouts tag match at Emergence.
I don't have any complaints about it. I have been saying that I'm saved on this channel, and I'm going to say my saved opinion, but also commentary. You're not helping it when you're like Killer Kelly's being a voyeur out here just staring at these two big women kill each other. I'm trying to be a better person, and you are not helping. Also, shout out to Savannah Evans, because I rarely see Jessicka get tossed around like that, and Savannah Evans was tossing Killer Kelly and Jessicka around. Okay, sis. Yeah, I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And I can't wait to see what we do with Savannah Evans next. She gets better and better. Her and Giselle Shaw, every time I see them, they get better and better every time.
Yeah, Savannah Evans is someone that you and I get to talk about pretty frequently. And it seems like each time we do, it's positive. It's things are going the right way and things are looking good. So as she continues to do the work that she's doing and work how she is, she's going to go much further than she appears to be right now.
I could see her, much like KiLynn King, winning the Knockouts Championship. And if not winning the Knockouts Championship, you know how there's always that one person in the wings who's a pain in your behind because they're so good? I could see her doing that.
Yeah, in my case, I call her Kate.
You better stop when she come back.
She ain't coming back. She gone to bed. No, she's walking the dog. I don't know. She ain't coming back. Dirty Dango's back with Alpha Bravo. And the question they ask is, why do you think Jake Something returned to Impact? And they just make fun of Jake Something. They say, what if Mike Awesome was Mike Something? I love that. And then they say, what is it? Viano Something 4, Viano Something 2. Yeah, Jake Something's not ranked in the PWI top 500. And then they ask, why did Dango run from Jake? And he's like, I didn't run. You know, Jake Something is going to get a rub from facing Dirty Dango and then go back to the VFW halls and the Outlaw Mud shows. He says he looks like Tarzan, but he plays like Jane. And I'm like, you can't do that. And then they say, go check his profile, his Tinder profile. Is he Jake Something on Tinder? First of all, Cresta, I don't know if you've ever used Tinder, but that's not how Tinder works. Just
listen, if you're a wrestling fan, what do you know about Tinder? You're a wrestling fan. Knock it off.
I'm pretty sure wrestling fans have at least tried Tinder and have been like, oh, I can do this. Listen, man, I met my wife on Tinder, so tread carefully.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying the average wrestling fan, what's a Tinder? All I know is PWI, hot chip, and lies.
I like it.
No, this was funny. And also, yes, you cannot search on Tinder. You search it on Tinder, I think that's against their TOS. You got a copy of the API?
Maybe they already matched with Jake Something. Maybe they're catfishing him.
I'm reporting this. I feel like there's a crime here. You know, if you see something, say something. I'm saying something.
Well, you can say this. Jake Something's going to challenge Sonata at Impact Emergence. They announced that tonight. And I do wonder what that's going to mean for the Dango feud. Are they going to put it off for a little bit? Or is Dango going to get involved during the Sonata match? It's not for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It's just Jake Something versus Sonata. One-on-one. It's a match. I assume Dango's going to run in, cause a distraction, or do something, set up something for TV tapings. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's lurking in the shadows of that match.
That's not a bad shout, but also I feel like Jake Something is going to kill Dirty Dango. I like Dango, but I feel like you're going to die.
Well, Dango hates pro wrestling, and what's more pro wrestling than New Japan Pro Wrestling? And their champion.
And what's more pro wrestling than dying in Impact?
That's fair. That's very pro wrestling. Tell you what, this was pro wrestling at its finest. Kevin Knight versus Moose. I said on Twitter, this was Kevin Knight's breakthrough Impact match. There was so much good stuff, and we're going to talk about the spots, but I just need to say that Kevin Knight, he continues to be good, and we talk about it almost weekly on this show. This was the first time where I can say, holy crap, he works with anybody. Moose gave him everything. Moose sold for everything. The two had great chemistry. The match was just fantastic. I loved it. And Kevin Knight looked like he could win this match. His hope spots were crisp. Moose eventually gets the win, hits that spear, but Kevin Knight was the story in this match. Talk to me, please, because I think we both liked it.
Yes, this match was amazing. I think this is truly a match of thirds, because in the first third, Kevin Knight was throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Moose, and Moose was like, stop it, knock it off. You are about to fly in my presence. Until they got to the middle of it, where he got outside when you were talking about the hope spots. I think it was Kevin Knight did like I don't want to say it was a moonsault. Look at your notes, Cresta. Don't be ashamed. You don't have to remember everything.
Well, he does his top rope Frankensteiner, and he does he does the crossbodies and everything. That's his part of his gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say was that Kevin Knight in the middle of this match was really giving Moose everything he had, and even in the final third where it was very back and forth, But I knew what it was when Moose was telling the crowd to shut the hell up. You suck. Moose was being a menace. But Kevin Knight tonight looked amazing, fantastic. This, much like the very first match, I encourage you and implore you to go ahead and watch. This is truly Moose saying, I get paid to beat you up, and this is great. And this is Kevin Knight saying, you won't beat me up. And it's a really good, fabulous story.
Live from the crowd, they were chanting Moose sucks, and Moose yells back, so does your mom. And they cheered it. They cheered him.
He's such a heel. Moose is one of those heels where your favorite heel is Moose.
One thing that, again, I really enjoyed about this match was that, like you said, it was a match of obvious thirds, and that's a good thing. And in the third, you had Kevin Knight doing a lot of the same moves again, but adapting on the fly, because as he kept doing them, he learned Moose is going to counter like this, so I'm going to try it like this. And the fact that Kevin Knight has these long legs that go everywhere when you throw them around, they both sell so well for their body types, and they both knew what they wanted out of this match. It looks so good. The code red on Moose, you don't typically do that.
You don't do that on Moose. He's a tall guy.
There's something good coming with Kevin Knight. I see in the chat they're talking about, future junior heavyweight champion. Yeah, absolutely. If New Japan wants to go and keep giving Kevin Knight these opportunities, wonderful. If Impact decides to scoop him up for whatever reason after a contract is over, just as well. I'm enjoying Kevin Knight on my screen. I'm enjoying talking about him on these shows because he continues to get better and better each week. And I think Moose proved that, Moose is very polarizing in wrestling, and whether it's for personal reasons or his wrestling isn't for you, I understand, but in this case he really does prove that he knows how to do this, and he knows when he has the right opponent, and he has someone Kevin Knight's size, stature, everything, it just came together really well.
That's crazy. I've never heard anyone say they didn't like Moose, but now the way you've heard, I can see people say they don't like, but I like, because he's a piece of crap heel, and that's exactly what he needs to be. In a lot of times, to me, he's not so far on the deep end like Bully Ray, but Bully Ray makes me a happy hypocrite every time he does something great. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I want to hate this, but God, there's some. You know what I mean? I think Moose is so fantastic. And here, like you said, Kevin Knight I feel like he's deceptively tall and leggy. Moose just throwing him around made it look so believable. These two were fantastic. I could talk about this match all goddamn night, girl.
Yeah, no, it was just really good stuff. Again, this is why this was an episode to go out of your way to watch, because there were some really solid matches and some really solid segments. For example, Rascalz are backstage with Gia Miller, and they immediately ask, hey, did you miss the Rascalz? Gia smiles and says yes. And then as they're kind of celebrating with each other, she turns to the camera and she's just like, no. And it's very good stuff. It's perfect little camera work like that that rewards the audience who are paying attention. Ace of Base show up in the middle. They all argue over the Good Hands getting involved in Ace of Base's tag title tournament match last week. And then Santino shows up. He's like, no, we're not doing this here. Rascalz, you may have paid the Good Hands to get involved in your tag tourney match. And then Trey hits them with the who do you think you are? I am line, and looks at himself like he's so proud of himself again. And then Santino makes Good Hands versus Ace of Base next week. And they said the show must have won. And then they're like, what did you say? And he's like, I go on. And then they just walk away very confusingly. What the hell was that finish?
I mean, sometimes I like Santino, but sometimes he tries to force jokes. And if you've got to force it, think of it like a fart. If you got to force it, it's probably shit. So I like that Wentz was like, accusations, close to the Rick Ross one. And if you know who do you think you are, I am the original. That is internet comedy gold right there. If you know, the quick synopsis is some guy is winning a bowling tournament and getting heckled by a kid, and his winning speech is, who do you think you are? I am. Yeah, I did it. Me. Look it up. That's lore. That's history. Impress your friends.
We're all gonna go bowling after this.
Y'all are gonna go bowling after this.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with bowling. I like bowling.
I'm going to Baldur's Gate.
Nice try. Speaking of nice try, I didn't love Khan versus Eric Young. I thought it was better than what I was told. Dino keeps getting involved in the match, hitting Eric Young and doing it behind the referee's back. I do like that Eric Young proved that Khan is not infallible and takes him down with that big back body drop. You don't see Khan off his feet, and they did it emphatically with that body drop. It was good stuff. Does the DVD on Khan, which is great. And then as Young is about to hit the pile driver, Diener comes in, hits a steel chair, and we got a DQ finish. Khan choke slams Eric Young. Diener sits on top of him after the match. What do you think of this? Clearly, we're moving stories ahead with Eric Young and Diener.
I liked seeing Khan wrestle. I didn't think the match was that bad, but I had a feeling that Eric Young was going to get cheated out his boots. Now I'm going to say this one time because I want to enjoy this story, but I'm going to say it now. Do not drag this, because I think there's an organic high, middle, and end, and we're still at the beginning. But please do not drag this, because I think that no one's going to look good out of this except Eric Young. And I think that's not fair to Khan. I see why Angels broke away from it. And I don't want all the hard work we put on Diener to be undone if you drag it. They've been losing a lot. Let either Diener win emphatically or just break up the design. I'm going to enjoy it because it's at the beginning. But that's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying it again. I'm not repeating it.
It feels to me like Bound for Glory is going to be the blow off. And that's October. So we got a little bit of time. Khan and Diener versus Eric Young and who knows who. We talked about PCO at one point, but is it going to be Young versus Diener at Bound for Glory? Is it going to be like, do we do a one-on-one match, or is it going to be another tag match? Is there somebody else that comes in? You know, Crazy Steve is currently making his case, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But where do we go from here, knowing that we're telling the story that eventually goes to Diener versus Eric Young?
I think there's 3 possibilities in my mind. 1, the design breaks up for good. Eric Young sees the error of his ways and he puts down that which he has created. Done. They all go their separate ways. Eric Young get the brakes beat off of him in a one-on-one, and it cannot be any other way. It cannot be any other way. Like Cody Diener, he's not Cody Diener, but Diener needs to beat Eric Young so bad that either Eric Young is part of the design, or like he has to assimilate, or something, or Eric Young goes crazy, something like that. Or now that you had said Crazy Steve, you have Crazy Steve come to protect Eric Young from Khan saying, I see your vision. If you're immortal, I want to be immortal too. But I think that if we're going to keep doing the design, he needs to win. In fact, he needs to beat up Eric Young. Eric Young needs to sell like, oh God, and I know he can do it. He needs to get beat up. Or else at this point, it's kind of like, what's the point of the design?
The ultimate feel-good moment to me is Big Joe Doring. God, if he's better, if he can do it, if he was healthy, and there are a lot of questions that I don't have answers to. And again, it's a private health matter. I'm not going to pry for that. Excuse me, I had to cough. But if you have Big Joe to just come in and do that tag match, if he's well and he's able, that is the most, oh God, passionate and just emotional match that you can have. Khan and Diener versus Eric Young and Big Joe Doring. The monsters of the design versus the leaders of the design.
No, I agree. The old guard versus the new guard. But I think that the resolution should be a one-on-one, though, eventually.
Yes, I agree. I wish, and I know there are so many people who agree with me on that, that if Big Joe's able to go and he's healthy and everything's good, it would be wonderful to see him back. Obviously, like I said, don't know the situation. I can only hope that he's doing better each day and, you know, that his health is improving, but we're going to leave it at that. It's just my mind continues to go there and I'd love to see it, but hopefully we will someday.
Sending him well wishes. Yeah. Positive vibes.
Dude is just amazing. Just an amazing human being. That's all I can say. Hendry, speaking of which, Hendry and Yuya in a montage.
I love this.
Just watch it. Just watch the stupid montage. I don't need to tell you anything other than these guys are going to have the best tag run and then the most heartbreaking splits when one turns on the other in a few weeks.
It's gonna be Joe Hendry, damn it.
And people are thinking Joe Hendry's gonna turn heel. I don't know if that's true, but we're doing stuff with Yuya, and that's the best. We're giving Yuya a little bit more, and I kind of hope that he's the one who turns. I hope that he's the one who shows that fire, because Yuya is right now, he's just the second. He's just the sidekick. Let him become that badass guy who takes out Joe Hendry.
But listen, I am a Joe Hendry stan. Joe Hendry is not the good guy. I cannot stress that enough. Joe Hendry is not the good guy. You insult people through song. He's literally a bard.
Listen, I get it. However, you gotta let it go. Hendry is just.
I love it. I love him. No matter, listen, he could poop in his hand and clap in front of my face. I'd be like, I believe in Joe Hendry.
It's disturbing as hell.
I'm saying that he, much like Zelina Vega, could do no wrong to me. They can do no wrong to me. They can do no wrong. So even though I see you who you really are, I think Yuya he has the look of a baby face. He's so sweet. I think we would get more heat on Joe Hendry, and it would send more. What's the opposite of heat?
Oh, I had it and then I just forgot it.
I say heat so much, I don't know what the opposite of heat is. Momentum?
Yeah, momentum's fine.
I think it'll give Yuya some baby face momentum, you know? I don't hate it. I kind of want to see the Joe Hendry of old that screwed over somebody to get a contract.
We'll see what they do. I do think that eventually they might just be the first to challenge a team like the Rascalz for the Impact Tag titles. Okay. And then that's where the break happens, when they lose. Easy as that. Just
maybe not the first. Maybe ABC first.
ABC's got to deal with the good hands first. I guess it's going to happen before. Either way, I agree with you, ABC. I feel like ABC is the longer term, like the Bound for Glory match. And let the Rascalz kind of be a bunch of dicks for a little bit, cause Hendry and Yuya to break up because they couldn't coexist or they couldn't do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're really, Yuya and Hendry are not made to be a tag team story. It's not about the two tag teams against each other. It's about Hendry and Yuya eventually breaking up. In my eyes, like it's the whatever tag match they have, it doesn't matter. It matters what happens afterwards when they break up.
I'm not going to hold you. I can see them being a Franken team that wins, though.
Yeah, I could. I could see that too. I don't know how long they're going to build that for.
That's fair.
It's clearly popular because it's very fun. And a guy like Joe Hendry has a lot of really creative ideas. And we saw that tonight. Go watch that montage. It's very, very fun and very silly.
Yes.
Before we get into the Crazy Steve segment, I do want to, and by the way, kudos to Impact for doing this as well on their socials. They hit everyone with a trigger warning, so I will do the same. A trigger warning, content warning. There is talk about abuse and about suicide, so please just keep that in mind. If this is something that is uncomfortable for you, fast forward through this or mute us right now if you're live, whatever it is. Just letting you know right now. This is the second part of the sit down with Crazy Steve. They get very deep. They get very dark. He's sitting down with Tom Hannafin. Talks about his dad being abusive and his mom being the loving mother who raised him but suffered from her own mental health, her own health issues. And then he signed his contract, Crazy Steve did, in 2014 with Impact. Said it was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but it wasn't because 3 weeks prior, his mom had unfortunately passed as she had committed suicide. And so he says, I was told to dress up like a clown, put out smiles on faces, but I was anything but happy, and I was not wanting to be there because of everything that was happening in my personal life. Says, I'm no clown. I'm not crazy. And Tom says, I believe you, and the audience believes you, but why are you doing this all now, and what does the future hold? And then they say it's to be concluded next week. So we got the cliffhanger. We got the story from Crazy Steve. I wasn't as bought into it last week, but this week really got me, Cresta. This was a really, really good personal segment from Steve.
Holy crap. Like, to have a wrestler reveal that much of themselves, I always think is very personal. And at first, I thought that this was kind of a work at first, because when he said, I put an end to it, and Tom Hannafin was like, what you mean by that? And then he starts telling the story about his mother. I was like, Crazy Steve, I want to hug you. Oh my goodness. I could see the juxtaposition of having to grieve your mother and then go out and be a clown to make everybody laugh. There's a joke that they often say in the Joker movies, like, you know, the patient goes to see the doctor, says, I'm depressed. And the doctor says, you should go see Geppetto the clown. The man starts laughing. A man starts crying. And the doctor's like, why are you crying? And the man says, what if I'm Geppetto the clown? You know what I mean? So that's woof. I hope this leads to something super serious, but even at the same time, woof. I knew this young man was blind, but woof. I want to hug him even now talking about it. Like, come here, homie.
When this all started, you know, I sat here and I said, this is going to be a means to get Crazy Steve to get back to Rosemary, right? And bring Rosemary back and save Decay and all that stuff. And it just took a sharp left turn, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what, and I love that I don't know where it's going.
Same.
It was heart-wrenching. It was intense. It was a lot. But I thought it was handled very well. I think Tom Hannafin is a good person to be opposite in this case because he plays the straight man, and Crazy Steve is just trying to like let his heart out. He requested the time. He's there. It's different from when Jonathan Gresham sat down with Tom Hannafin and like Hannafin just basically sat there and said, you requested this time, and Gresham just talked and got up and left. This time is a little more interaction between Steve and Tom, and it's just a really good sit down. I really enjoy it. It's very, very powerful stuff. I like it.
Yeah. I think there's more than one way to convey emotions in wrestling, and Crazy Steve has proven that. It also low-key reminds me of when they did the when they were going through Josh Alexander's history when he was about to challenge Macklin, and kind of like what they did for Nick Aldis when they were talking about his way back to Impact Wrestling. I like how Impact has a way to tell people's backstories, especially if they want to do something that's history driven from them. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, some really good stuff. Looking forward to what they conclude with next week. They've got a lot to live up to because, like I said, if they're just going back to Decay, not really what I would like. But again, I'll trust it. I'll let it play out, as they say. And instead, we'll move on. Chris Sabin is talking about Lio Rush winning the X Division Championship. Chris Sabin says, I was excited when Lio Rush came to Impact, but instead Lio did none of the hard work and cut corners to win the title. And then in walked Samurai Del Sol, who was supposed to be in the match last week, the 6-man tag. Instead, he got taken out by Lio Rush, and he says, well, I want Rush. And Sabin says, well, Rush isn't here. So instead, it's going to be Sabin versus Samurai Del Sol next week. Looking forward to that match. It's going to be a fun one. What do you think of this segment? Because I'm looking forward to Samurai Del Sol versus Chris Sabin.
I don't really have any notes. It was a straightforward promo. I'm good. We're going to see him wrestle next week. Come on, Samurai Del Sol.
Easy. Bully Ray versus Black Taurus in a no DQ match. I'm sure you have comments on this, both pre and post. This is bully on bull action. Okay. I can't condone this, but I can love every minute of it. Really, the whole thing was bully. Okay. This match was kind of lazy because you had Bully come out with the trash cans and they set up the tables. The tables were really for what happened after the match. You had the ladder come out. Sure. Whatever. Bully Ray gets hit with a twisting senton. And I'm like, why is this happening in like a no DQ plunder match? Black Taurus hits that twisting senton and he sets up a ladder on the ground, lays Bully on it and says, going to go for a second one. He misses, Bully rolls off, and then Taurus lands on the ladder and Bully just pins him 1, 2, 3. That was kind of lazy to me, but the post match is why we did it. PCO is here. Bully puts PCO through a table. PCO no sells it, of course. Then Bully takes his first bump of the whole night and then he runs off. No one's gonna protect Bully Ray.
Girl. Let's start off by saying this. Why do baby faces wait until after the match to want to do the razzle dazzle, get in and mess people up? But the heels will come in, fight you, bite you. Like PCO, this man literally set you on fire. Why did you wait till after the match? With all the stuff they had going on there, I thought for sure this was about to be a smudge, and then Myers and Moose were going to come out, and they were going to like, Santino, I thought you were, I thought. But Bully winning clean is kind of like, You didn't have to make it no DQ. I guess the match was fine. Like you said, this is all about the post match. And to me, PCO no selling the table, fantastic. One of my friends was in Discord watching Impact with them. They said, "So is PCO a zombie? Is he dead?" I said, "No, he's just French Canadian."
Can't confirm. They're all assholes.
Listen, I don't know anything about Canada except poutine, Joel hates Hamilton, and Fred. That's all I know. I'm sorry. I'm a stupid American. Please educate me. No DMs.
Tell you what, if I can't educate you about French Canada, I can at least educate you about FightfulSelect.com, the best
Nice
$5 in the business. Thank you. You want to know who was backstage at AEW Dynamite? Former WWE stars, former WCW World Champion. You want to know who was there? Go over to FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business. All the CM Punk news, big and small and all along. You want to learn about Glassgate? Go ahead, FightfulSelect.com. And of course, the most important piece of news from the last 24 hours, Cresta. We got it. We know the identity of Leatherface from the Texas Jeff match on last night's AEW Dynamite. We know who it is. And the report's over on FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business. Along with Sour Graps. Of course, Alex Pulaski's there. He's been there since the beginning, doing his thing, talking negative, but like in a fun way. Sean's Q&A. That's every week. Next week, Jimmy Van and I are doing our Q&A. So keep an eye out for that. Coexisting After Dark with Rob and Maggie. And of course, they've got a guest every week. The Weekender podcast with Steven Jensen, who joins us once in a while to talk about Impact Wrestling. And so much more. Your best $5 in the business. Fightful Select .cam. .cam? I can't do it.
Can.
Do we do a Baston accent for the next segment?
Bastard. I chimed in with the haven't you described the Fightful for $5 every month. No. I'm channeling my inner Denise.
100,000 YouTube subs, and that's what got us here. Edward Edwards is backstage with GM Miller. They ask how's Lister doing, and he's like, she's a badass, she'll be fine. And then Kazarian walks in, he says, what happened last week was the kendo stick, it was an accident. Oh, we're all good. And then they're like, no, we're not cool, bro. We're gonna fight again. And I was like, Jesus Christ, please don't. Just don't. And I was waiting for them to announce it for Emergence. And then all of a sudden they're like, we're gonna take care of this in Massachusetts. And I was just like, why?
Boston, your cousin Joey from Boston.
We're gonna pack a cars in Boston Yard. We're gonna pack a cars in Killer Kowalski's wrestling school, and they're gonna have a match. I don't know where the ring is gonna be. I don't know if Killer Kowalski's school had a ring or if they trained on the floor like Jacques Rougeau in the boxing rings in the barn. I don't know. Either way, I just hope they don't air it at Emergence. I hope what they do is they put it on an episode of Impact where they can film it ahead of time, not waste the audience time, and not show it to people who are sitting in the audience at a pay-per-view.
This match, first of all, I'm legally obligated to make fun of people from Boston. I'm from New York. I don't make the rules. I'm legally obligated to make fun of them. I'm like, to me, this is one step away from having, dude, I'm so mad I'm throwing a T in the harbor, Pearl Harbor, not a Pearl Harbor, a Boston, Massachusetts T Harbor fight. Like, bro, Killer Kowalski wouldn't have wanted this. He would have, maybe y'all should have bare knuckle fought. That'd have been more to honor him, but he would not have wanted this.
Killer Kowalski would have said, get drunk and get over it. And that would have been it. Instead, we have to have a fight because they're both angry old men.
I mean, kind of, sort of, but literally, Kazarian was like, dude, we could go our own ways. We messed up, and now we know the call of the day. He's like, no, we have to still fight. You could have walked away. Just because someone invites you to a fight doesn't mean you have to accept the invitation. But it's pro wrestling. I expect the match to be good, but I agree with you. This needs to be pre-tempt, mayhem, mansion, horror. I don't know.
Someone in the chat saying his school had it was a very hard ring with loose ropes. So basically, it was a boxing ring, as we just mentioned.
Every time I think of old school wrestling schools like that, the Hart Dungeon, like you said, what's a ring? Y'all were on the bare floor, and if you started bleeding, it started calling you a baby.
It's like all the schools, and like you hear from like Finn Balor being like, we didn't know how to train, we didn't have an access to a ring, we just put mats on the floor and did what we learned in WWF. It's like there's a wrestling oh my God, was it Taiwan or Singapore? Jericho had some people on his show, and it was the same conversation. We didn't know what we were doing. We were training on the mat, and we just did. We recreated what we saw on like Monday Night Raw, and I'm like,
I grew up during a time where right before Raw would go on, there'd be like Rob Van Dam, The Rock, and they'd all turn around and say, "But don't try this at home." Clearly, a lot of y'all didn't listen.
no, why would we?
Some of you guys thank you because now you're wrestlers, but some of you guys are like, bro, you know what they said? What if you Tiger Driver someone 91 and then they land on their neck for real? Please.
It's just someone in the chat, yeah, like Norbert's in the chat, just saying, why do we have to have a fourth match between these two? You don't. You know what you should have done at Impact 1000? You do Lish and Edward Edwards versus Tracy Brooks and Frankie Kazarian.
Yes.
Boom. That's a great nostalgia match. You blow off the Edward Edwards, the Edwards is, and the Brooks Kazarian is, and that's it. We move on. But instead, no, we have to go to our trainer's house, our dead trainer's house, and we're going to train in his gym. And someone's going to be like, "It's over, Rock." And then, yeah, I'm making a Rocky reference. It's not very good.
I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I will say if they do that intergender four-way match, I don't care. I've become an Lish stan. I just want to hear her scream like a little gremlin. Wrestling gremlins are in. Her, Juice Robinson, Vicky Guerrero, all of the really loud ones that just talk the whole match and just, they're in. Wrestling gremlins are in, baby.
Let's talk about this main event. Get your humper chats and your super chats in and support us here on the channel. Oh my goodness. Tag Tourney Finals. Rascalz defeats Swann and Callihan. I liked the match way more than I thought I would. But really, Cresta, the big news coming into this match, the Cash Cab is back. Did you ever watch Cash Cab?
That's the one where you would get in and it'd be like, oh yeah, I have. I live in New York. I've never taken the freaking Cash Cab.
So
Ridiculous.
it was very popular in Canada, especially in Toronto where I am. It was my birthday or a birthday I was going to. Cash Cab was there, like in front of me, and there were people lined up to like get in and do it. And they were signing waivers. I was like, should I do it? But I was alone. I didn't have friends with me to do it with. I didn't end up doing it. I don't know. Do you know the controversy of the Cash Cab?
No, I'm so late. I'm so late.
Okay, this was a Canada thing, so I don't expect many people to know. The Cash Cab hit a guy once. In Vancouver, the Cash Cab hit a guy.
That's a very American New York. They're like, that's not funny. Is the person okay?
No, unfortunately not. This was in 2011. No charges have been filed. The incident was under investigation. It canceled the show. That much I remember. The taxi was disguised to look like a yellow cab, but it wasn't a yellow cab. It was for production. So there you go.
Well,
it wasn't one of our drivers. It wasn't one of our taxis. So basically, it looks like it was I forget what it was. Maybe it was a production van.
Either way, someone dying on your set, whether intentional or unintentional, will get your show canceled.
Well, it's back. So there you go. Everything old is new again. And 10 years later, Cash Cab returns.
I just want to win some cash, baby. Don't hit me. I need the money. I need the money to actually live.
Anyways, there's some good stuff in this match. Callihan and Swann work together well. They do. But this was all the Rascalz because the Rascalz are a great team. They've been together longer. They do the stereo thumb to the eyes and then the stereo moonsaults on the outside. That looked good. Wentz hitting that standing shooting star on Sami Callihan. And then Callihan doing the cactus driver on Wentz while he compacted his head onto Trey Miguel's chest. Some good stuff there. Super kick into the stomp from Wentz and Swann for 2.9. And then, of course, the four-way super kick spot. Stupid. Loved it. Perfect. Trey hides the spray paint, and then Callihan goes with a pile driver. Trey drops, uses the spray paint right up in the eyes. And then they bring back Hot Fire Flame, which is a move that used to be when Wes Lee was part of the Rascalz, when he was Desmond Xavier. That used to be Trey and Dez's thing. Instead, they brought it back, and now Hot Fire Flame returns. Trey pins Callihan. They're going to Emergence to face Subculture for those tag titles. What do you think, Cresta?
The match itself, I already knew what it was. The Rascalz was going to cheat. They was going to cheat. But I liked how we got there. The match itself was great. I love that 4-way spot where they all kicked each other. Because it was like, we're going to kick you. No, we're going to kick you. Now we're all going to kick each other. Don't you love it when a plan falls apart? The match overall, this was really solid stuff from the Rascalz. I cannot put over again, like what Joel said, that Tiger Driver onto Miguel from Sami with Wentz, that looked sick. And Swann and Sami really did a great job here. Their teamwork, their chemistry was impeccable. You would think that these guys were a full-time tag team for real, for real. So kudos to them. I don't mind the Rascalz winning because no shade against Swann and Callihan. I like them together, but I like them better apart. Because sometimes Callihan likes to do really weird stuff, and I just leave Swann out of that. That's just me. That's just me. I like Swann. I like when he does his stuff, but sometimes Callihan does death match or the blood stuff, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So don't involve Swann in it because I like Swann.
I'm curious as to what those two are going to do moving forward because they're still a tag team. They're still a viable tag team. They didn't win this little tag team tournament, but there's still an opportunity for them to strike it big in the tag division in Impact. So I don't know what you do. And I don't think I want to see them break up and do a feud because it's just kind of boring to me. We've seen stuff like that before.
I mean, there is a hot new up-and-coming tag team by Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura that they could get some reps in with.
That's actually a very good point. I didn't think about that, and it would work. That works for me.
Gotta use your brain, your noggin.
Never. Wrestling versus Subculture is coming up. I do like that they're kind of they're showing you Subculture is they're not on the show, but they're still putting their tag titles up on the line at various independent events outside of in the UK where they are. I like that they're at least showing that despite not being on TV, they're putting up the titles elsewhere. I'm fine with that. I still don't think Subculture is going to retain this week.
Yeah,
they got to start putting those tag titles back on the show, and highlighting the tag division like that would be better. That's just where I am.
I will also say that a lot of things that are going down in the tag division right now, a lot of multi-man matches with people and stuff, and you've got like the Motor City Machine Guns kind of doing their own thing. So this is a good way for the tag division to get refreshed. You got Yuya and Hendry, Sami and Swann. It's a good way to like refresh it. So if there's more people that come out of it, and thank you, Subculture, put some respect on the Impact name and have some of those people like, well, I lost when Subculture was champion, but they did. And, you get eyes on it. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And there's a lot to me. There's now more to do in the tag division. If you bring them back, it's not as bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is plenty that's going on in the tag division without the titles. I'm just ready for those tag titles to start being a primary source of the tag division on Impact Wrestling TV every week. But again, this does refresh the tag division a little bit, so it's not all bad.
I agree. It's not all bad. And I want to see Johnny Swinger win the DMC, and I want to see Yuya and Joe Hendry win the tag titles. That's my song of prayer. I'm manifesting it.
That was Impact Wrestling for August 17, 2023. I'm Matt Joel Pearl, and Emergence is in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to it. Cresta Star, what you got going on? Tell the people, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I teased this for you 2 weeks ago and last week, but we're doing it now. After this show, twitch.tv or TikTok, Cresta Star, we're going to be doing a Baldur's Gate 3 run with wrestling characters. Just come and have some yucks. But if you're like, I don't like video games because I'm allergic to fun, but I like you, Cresta, you can find me anywhere on social media besides Xter, Twitter, I don't know, whatever that app is called now. You can find me at Cresta V Star. I've got a link tree in there. You can find everything that I do. But anywhere on the internet, that's Instagram except Facebook, because I don't know, I'm not a Facebook girly. That's
Maybe
it.
You could be.
No.
All right, well, easy enough. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOLPARL. I am in the weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Fightful Overbooked. Go to youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Myself and Jeremy Lambert, we talk about what's going on in wrestling, the TV, the news articles, the big stuff. You want to talk about Anthony Bowens having to come out of both ends after some Taco Bell? Yeah, we talked about that on Wednesday to open the show. That's what you're missing if you don't watch In the Weeds. You want a big, long rant about letting it play out and sometimes it working out in professional wrestling storytelling? We do that in the Weeds. You want interviews with wrestlers? How about Alec Price tomorrow, the IWTV World Champion? He joins us at 11 a.m. Eastern on In the Weeds, youtube.com/FightfulOverbooked. Plenty of stuff there. And if not, I'm all over socials at JoelPearl, JoelPearl. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.